Welcome to the FSE podcast. I'm Lakeland.
I'm Jaden.
And I'm Paisley.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about our Lego playoffs and the championship match, which was a really good match until the last round when the Giants won. That was exciting but sad moment for Carson. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Hey, but it was good for us. We won, guys.
But let's start off with the first round.
Okay, just saying, best match of the first round was definitely the Big Bears and the Big Ballers.
Yes.
That was like the biggest upset of the season right there, not going to lie. But
the Big Ballers were scoring like 500, and they just...
Yeah.
I know.
I don't know. I think
it was awesome, though.
For the playoffs, everybody kind of like started to score their highest.
I know.
The Giants scored their highest in the playoffs. The IDK scored their highest in the playoffs.
My team scored like our highest in the playoffs.
Because IDKs were in our class, and they, like, in the playoffs, I'm not going to lie, they were making me a little nervous in the first round because it was kind of close. And
yeah.
I was a little scared because they actually, like, came together and started doing really good, so
the championship was really fun and awesome. It was really cool.
Anyways, okay, so first off, we're going to explain how you get to the Lego playoffs. So, during the school year, we had our Lego season where we would go against people or teams in our classes and we would go against and have matches against them, and you take pretty much your scores from all those matches and put them together to get your seed. So, which we were the number one seed. What were y'all? Y'all were 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all were 3.
Yeah,
what
we
were
were
y'all?
3.
Like 12.
Which was also a big thing because we had a lot of lower seeds that made it to not only like beat other teams but made it pretty far. Like the Unicorns, they made it to the championships and they were a pretty low seed. And then the Big Bears and the Big Ballers were number 2 seed, and the Big Bears were like, what, 15? And they beat out the Big Ballers, which was a really good thing for us anyways, because I was a little nervous to play the Big Ballers, not going to lie.
Yeah, the Big Ballers were pretty...
They were very good.
They were getting 500. Like,
anyways,
scared,
so once you do all those matches, pretty much at that point it doesn't really matter if you win or lose. You're just trying to score the most that you can possibly score. The only time that it matters when you win or lose is in the playoffs, because then if you lose, your season's over, which was sad, but it's okay because we made it pretty far, and I think every team had something to be proud of.
Yeah.
But
and in the championship, you go against your team, the other team, but you get like 2 rounds. So like if you win one round, the other team could make them forfeit to another round. So there would be 3 rounds unless one team wins both rounds and they just automatically win. And the other team.
And one thing is that it's difficult because you play in the playoffs because you play other teams you haven't played your whole season because you only play against your class. So when you play against these teams in the playoffs, it's difficult because you don't know what they're going to do.
yeah, it makes you a little nervous because I remember before playoffs even started, I don't remember when it was, but my class or my team went against the Big Ballers and the Unicorns, and like not just my team, even both of the teams that we went against were like doing terrible against other classes. And I think it's just because like you get used to playing all the teams that are in your classes because you know like what they could score, you know what they do, like you know what you need to beat them. But when you go against other classes, you never know. Like they could go and score 500 and you wouldn't know because you never played them. So it makes it a little harder in the playoffs than it does in the regular season. But yeah, so when you get to the playoffs, and the first round was actually really surprising, not gonna lie, because the Big Bears beat the Big Ballers. That was like the best thing for everybody else, but the Big Ballers, I don't think Jace really cared, but the Big Ballers, like, I did not expect them to get out first round, not gonna lie.
I think everybody was expecting them to get to the championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the paper, I put them...
I chose them to
far in.
win. I chose them to win.
The Big Ballers?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Big Ballers are pretty good.
It's okay. Anyways, But yeah, on my bracket for sure, I had us in the big ballers in the championships. I did not expect big ballers getting out first round. And Jace took the loss like really, really well. He was so the other team.
Before the last match, he walked up to Caleb and said, "Win it."
Yeah, he literally told him to win. So now Jace probably would have been happy if he would have won, but he took it very well. And him and Caleb are friends, so it was big for them going against each other. And Jace was happy for them. He was cheering them on for the rest of the time instead of just not cheering for anybody because he was mad that he lost. But he wasn't mad anyways, which is surprising because he's Jace.
He took a well.
Yeah.
He's very competitive.
Yeah. He's a very competitive person. And then, so in the championships was the Giants and the Unicorns. And the Giants and the Unicorns were kind of unpredictable because I know the Giants were they're capable of scoring a good bit, but also the Unicorns could do it too. They just weren't as consistent as the Giants, I think, which made me kind of lean towards the Giants a little bit more. But then I don't know, because then Carson, it came down to the very last match, and I really didn't know what was going to happen after that.
And they had 5 matches. And what I think is that they did so good their first couple of matches, and by the end they just started getting tired and just ready to win and stuff, and more nervous as the matches went on.
Yeah, because at the very end when we were going against the Unicorns, we were really nervous because we knew what they could score, and it was okay, well, if we get a bad match, they could win. So
yeah, you're a Giant.
Yeah.
But she's not. That's the real thing. That's the real thing.
I know.
But you're a giant. You're a
Just
giant.
imagine
Okay.
me being 6 foot tall, okay?
I'm not a giant. I'm a viper.
Yeah, you're short.
And you're a
I'm
goat.
a goat.
Tall, guy.
I'm not short. Anyways, so yeah, but it was really. I didn't really know what was gonna happen though, because my bracket I had my final 4 was us, Big Ballers, Unicorns, and the Giants, which would have been a really, really good Final 4. But we also had a lot of lower seed teams that made it pretty far, which I am happy, but I was not expecting to happen because our higher seeds were pretty good. Then another team that was kind of sad for was the Farty Shorties. They were at the beginning. They were us and the Farty Shorties were always first and second seed at the very beginning before the Giants got to where they were scoring in the 400s, 500s. And so when the Giants got there, the Farty Shorties, as the Giants started to score more, the Farty Shorties started to score less, which the Farty Shorties were not happy about because they wanted to beat us and the Giants and the Big Ballers. But
So did the IDKs.
yeah, so did the IDKs, but
They said
not
they
gonna
were gonna
lie,
go
they
all the
said they
way.
were going all the way. But you have to give them some credit because they did do really well when
Yeah.
when it really mattered. When they got to the playoffs, they did really well because we played against them first round, and the first match kind of made me nervous.
And what we're talking about, on paper, so our STEAM teacher, Mr. Anthony, he gave us, papers that it was a bracket so we could fill them out, kind of like you would for March Madness, for the sports and stuff, but for Lego to see who would win. And whoever gets the closest gets a prize.
But I think all of our brackets kind of got messed up when the Big Ballers lost out.
Yeah.
That threw everybody's brackets off.
It threw mine off.
I kind of didn't know what to
I
do.
chose us for win. I chose us to
After
win.
the Final
They're
Four,
so good.
I had
I can read
us,
the future.
Giants, Unicorns, and Big Ballers, and I really did not know what to do after that. But of course, I'm gonna make my team win because I just didn't know what to do, so I put my team. Then I was gonna go with the Giants. Then I was thinking about the Big Ballers, and then I was thinking about the Giants again. I really did not want to know what to do, so I just put the Big Ballers. But that was also before I knew that the Giants could score 500, which kind of also was a big thing because I think they could have beat the Big Ballers, which I think any team could have beat the Big Ballers, but they definitely could have because of what they could score. But it was fun, though, having good competition, in the matches because it really did, it made me nervous because I didn't know what was going to happen next because, I knew we could beat the teams, but I knew the teams could beat us. That was the only bad thing.
One thing I miss about Lego out now that it's all over is the whole experience and all the competitiveness and stuff.
Yeah, and it kind of makes me mad that all my hard work is just like gone now.
I know.
All that hard work I did with all that coding and stuff,
And we got
it's
new
just
maps.
gone, and
we
it
got new maps.
means nothing
so
anymore.
Now it's gone.
So
Yeah.
you guys get a new map next year. You don't get the
Yeah.
same map as us. But that's okay.
It's
Y'all
harder.
get a brand new
but
map.
it's-
Y'all get a brand new map though.
It's
And
harder, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's harder. You can't score 500 points.
But I
but
think we're just used to the old map. That's the thing.
One thing that kind of makes me happy though about getting a new map is we get to like make more codes, because I still liked Lego at the end of the season, but also it was just like getting to where all you had to do was do the missions, because we already had everything coded, and like we had our missions that we did. So
Another thing I'm gonna miss is the slow robots at the end of the matches, just taking their time to get the bridge. and
Carson.
stuff.
anyways, Carson started a trend, and it was
It was not Carson. It was Jason though.
actually
They started the trend.
Well, they did it, but Carson started the trend because everybody saw Carson do it, and then they all started doing it. Because
Well,
at
Jay
the
stole it.
very end,
Carson
most
stole it from
teams-
Jace.
well, yeah, it doesn't make whatever. Anyways, so Carson at the end of the match, and most people at the end of their matches did the red circle and then the bridge. So, but the towers that some people made were like really risky and they could fall. So Carson decided to make his robot go like 1 mile per hour, and it was really, really slow. And so there was one point in a match that Mr. Anthony counted the whole other side and got their score, and Carson's robot was still going and still hadn't gotten to the bridge yet. They got to circle, it was just still trying to go to the bridge. And so then the 40 shorties did it, then everybody started doing it. But it was good too, because like then your tower didn't fall and it was a little more consistent bridge. But ours worked most of the time and we didn't have it going that slow, so.
One thing he did though, so they were in the middle of a match and his robot was going right then and there, and he went to his computer, changed the code, and hit download in the middle of the actual match, and it stopped the robot.
Yeah,
And
that
he
was
said-
not
It
a
was-
smart
and
decision.
I told him he was right. I was standing on a chair right
It's like,
there.
don't download
behind-
it, don't download
and
it.
He was
He
behind
downloads
me.
it.
Yeah, I was telling him, do not download it, and what does he do?
He downloads it. He's Carson. He doesn't listen. So
Very good luck next year. It's very
the
competitive.
new missions are gonna be a little bit harder.
And also,
But
y'all don't have the same.
Trust me, if we can figure it out, y'all can figure it out too.
Don't argue, because that's gonna get you like in a tight space, and then that's gonna make
Yeah,
you
it just
not be
makes
able to
it
get
makes it
anything.
even worse. Just don't do it.
Yeah, y'all
Don't
are
do
gonna
it.
have. I don't know if y'all are gonna have a tough time, but I think the new mat is gonna be a little harder, and you're gonna have to code a lot more, as Jaden would know, because we're on the same team.
Yes, you have to. There's a lot more code going into the new map than there was the old map.
And then what's gonna be different, like for us, it was
my
different
brain.
because the rules changed from like you can't start with your
Nothing
attachment
can be
out.
over
Yeah.
like so. On the old map, what we had was like
line.
the starting line. You had to be behind it, but we had our attachments over it most of the time. And then like for triple stack, we had the part of the robot that wasn't touching the ground was over the line. But
Can't
now
do
you can't
that.
do that anymore. And also, once the time is up, whatever you have in there is like that's all you get. Because like an example was Carson, and they would always the time would be up, but they had already sent the robot, so it counted. But now, once the
Can't do
time
that.
is up, if you don't have the mission already in, then it doesn't count, which is going to be a little bit harder, but it's okay. But
A really huge difference.
I think you'll still be able to get it, and it's not going to be that hard. It's just a little bit harder than
And
last
just
year.
gonna have
Always
to believe in
words
yourself.
and encouragement like mine. Just win.
Yeah, just win. That's the best. That's the best word you could ever say when you're in the middle of a Lego match. Is just win.
And that's a story for a different day.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
just
fun
have
with
fun
the
with
new
it.
Lego
and
mat.
don't rush. Don't argue.
Don't
Yeah.
stress, just do your best and impress. It's comeback season every match.
Yeah,
Okay. And we can't wait to see what y'all do.
yeah.
All right.
Lights, camera, lions.